this Wednesday. As yeah, we brought the flight jacket in here with us this morning. It's cold, cold, cold outside. I promise you. Temperatures. If you can get us some official temperature this morning, I'd appreciate it. Scott. Scott's with us today, all the way from his residence. And of course, a cold morning, and we appreciate him being with us this morning. And of course, we're also waiting some other guests to come into our show today. We're on Facebook around the country, around the world. On Facebook, you want to call your friends out in California and tell them to pick us up. Hey, you can do it live on Facebook right here in Troy, Alabama.
29 degrees.
29 degrees and cold, and of course with a little breeze to go with it. So it's going to be sunny but cold all day today, and the cold weather will stay with us through in the morning, but starting to warm up a little bit over the weekend. So weekend looks real good if you have plans for outdoors. We got a lot of baseball to talk about. Basketball, Alabama loses to Auburn last night, which is no strange occurrence. Troy's baseball team plays tough for about 6 innings, and that's all they had as Tennessee defeats Troy 11-2 in a game that was played in Birmingham last night, a cold Birmingham. They moved that starting time up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday in hopes that it wouldn't be so cold for everybody. But at the end, it was cold for the Trojans as they fell 11-2, and that's not very good. The Trojans have given up a bunch of runs in the last 2 games, and not meaning to show for them on the Trojan side of the dugout. Of course, we're talking to you from our studio that I mentioned on South Frontage Street, and of course, we're waiting for our guests to arrive. Of course, the combine, we'll be talking about the combine where the college athletes are trying to show up good for the pros, because the big day is coming up. They'll have several pro days at Alabama, at Auburn, and at Troy. You know, guys working out for the pro scouts, and hopefully being able to get a good look at them. And when the draft comes, hopefully they'll be drafted and start making big money. Of course, we've got a gentleman that's coming on the set right now that needs really no introduction other than he has the face for radio. And of course, Mike Amos has just walked in the door for us. And good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
Mike Amos coming in here from Birmingham this morning. Tell us what's going on.
Well, I mean, not much. I mean, you had Troy fall last night 11-2 to Tennessee at the Hoover Met. Probably one of the coldest baseball games you probably ever could attend. And then Alabama choked the lead away last night against Auburn, and lost a must-win home game to maybe possibly get into the NCAA tournament. So unbelievable how poor Alabama's played at home over the last 3 or 4 weeks. They've now lost to LSU, Florida, Auburn. Of course, you know, it's a situation they're possibly still in the bubble. They play Arkansas this weekend in Fayetteville, but Mike Anderson's in a situation where he's trying to keep his job. So I would imagine Alabama will probably lose that game as well. But Auburn was just too much. They were too tough last night.
Yeah. Well, you know
Wimp Sanderson had to just be shaking his head last night watching that game. I mean, Alabama has no big men that can actually make a shot from 10 feet out.
And that includes the young man from Luverne, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, he's been there for 4 years. I mean, he's a great as far as, like, you know, grabbing a rebound, dunking the ball, or throwing it down and, you know, him, you know, making a layup or a dunk. But he just can't step out and shoot a shot.
Yeah.
And then they're counting on a 17-year-old point guard that's basically in a situation where he is just wearing down as the year goes on. Kyra Lewis, a kid that actually should be playing high school basketball this year for Hazel Green. He ends up graduating early, and you know, is Alabama's point guard, and he's leading the team in scoring. So it's a crazy situation to say the least.
Coach, Auburn looks very good. Troy in baseball, you know, they played Tennessee tough through 6 innings, and then it seems like Tennessee just jumped all over them in the latter innings.
Yeah, it looks like Troy's got some issues with their bullpen. They need to find somebody that can come in and shut some teams down and give their bats a chance to win some games.
Yeah.
That's what we were mentioning last night. I mean, their last two games, they got beat 19-4 and 11-2.
Oh man!
So obviously the pitching
not very good.
Doesn't
look good. In fact, what is that? 30 to 2 the last 30 to. How many runs did they score the last two games?
They scored 19. Southeast Louisiana did, and then Tennessee scored 11 last night.
All right. So
don't get me wrong. Tennessee is actually 13-0, so best start in Tennessee baseball history.
And Troy is 30 and what the last two games?
I mean, Troy has gotten beat the last two games, 30 to 6.
30 to 6. So that's not very good. They got to be able to score some runs too, and
well,
hopefully they'll come back.
I don't know if he can score enough runs to win those games.
I know, no question. Hopefully they'll come back and start making some things happen. Let's take a look at their schedule. And, of course, nobody enjoys watching Troy baseball any more than I do. And I was looking at the schedule here, and now Troy comes back home for a big 3-game series with North Alabama.
Yeah, old rivalry game.
And, of course, that game will be this weekend starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. With their old rival North Alabama, so they definitely want to be ready for that one. Then then next week they head back to Birmingham for a game with UAB, and then the next day they'll go over to Jacksonville State. You know, if you like Troy baseball, those would be two good ones to watch.
Oh yeah, hopefully the weather will warm up as well. I was riding in and they said it was 27 degrees.
27 degrees in Troy, Alabama this morning, and of course colder than that out at the airport. Mike Amos has joined us. Of course, most folks that watch our show hear him most every morning on the air from Birmingham. How does it feel to be back home for a change?
Well, it's always good to be back home. Of course, we had a great meal last night at one of my favorite places, Mossy Grove, and Sylvia was
and again,
was there.
if you ask them to cut that steak thick, they'll cut you a good steak, won't they?
Yeah, my problem is I can already see it on camera. I had too many hush puppies last night. You can see it right here.
They are good, aren't they? No question about it. We kept our coat on this morning. The studio was a little bit cool this morning, and of course, hope you're warm wherever you are. I had a good fire this morning. All I had to do was touch a button and had a warm fire in the fireplace, and it's always good to dress in front of a fire, you know?
Yeah, I was always amazed when I take showers in Troy how soft the water is.
Yeah, well, tell me about that.
I stand underneath the shower for literally like an extra 5 minutes to try to get the shampoo out of my hair. I don't know what it is, but Troy has soft water.
People have said that for years.
Like Birmingham, I mean, has hard water, and the beach has hard water. I don't know what it is about Troy. I wish somebody would tell us that.
Well, I mean, it's nothing, no big deal to me.
I don't know. I mean, I've noticed it my whole life.
And of course, college people, that go to school here say that about Troy, that they have soft water. What is soft water?
basically water that basically shampoo doesn't come out of your hair right away.
Yeah, well,
or soap or anything.
It feels like it do.
Basically, everybody's water bill must be a little bit more in Troy because you have to stay under a little bit more.
Well, as long as it's hot.
So we talked about the huge Troy news about Marcus Jones
in the
transfer portal.
This is something that I don't think many people want to hear, but they're going to have to hear it because another Troy football player has decided to go, what do they call it?
Into the NCAA transfer portal. So what that means is basically every single coach throughout the country knows that Marcus Jones is looking to transfer, and they can contact him now.
And everybody in the country probably will be contacted.
Well, he was a freshman All-American, and then last year, of course, he was playing phenomenal and broke his collarbone. So now
on a fabulous play.
Interception, yeah. So now you have Tron Folsom, who led the team in tackles last year.
And the year before.
And Marcus Jones, possibly leaving this Troy defense. And I tell you what, that's not good news. Yeah. I'm not excited about it at all.
Of course, Jones from Enterprise had run back 3 kicks in the last 2 years, which is a Troy record, and is a defensive back. What does he want to play? Does he want to play defensive back or wide receiver? Troy's been using him some as wide receiver.
I think the only reason they put him at wide receiver is what Coach Brown said was the situation where he had broken his collarbone and he wasn't going to take as many licks.
Yeah. Do you think Coach Brown might be trying to pick him up?
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, you wouldn't think that.
Because he's going to have to sit a year.
Yeah, he's going to have to sit a year.
Wherever he goes, he'll have to sit out the year.
Yeah,
he could go to Alabama or Auburn.
Yeah, he could go anywhere in state. Yeah, and he has a redshirt year to burn. So I mean, it's a situation that's different from.
And he could have 2 years of eligibility. He could go to Alabama, Auburn, or Tennessee, and have 2 years.
It's different from Folsom. Folsom was a graduate senior, so he can go play anywhere right away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And Folsom is a linebacker that makes a lot of tackles.
Yeah. Not a real big linebacker. He's only about 6'2", about 205 pounds.
But he's a natural, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really got good instincts.
No question about it.
The situation with Jones, though, I mean, I remember talking to people out of Enterprise, and like Saban went down there and recruited him. A lot of big schools recruited him, but they just thought he was a little too undersized. Yeah. And it was one of those situations. He ended up coming to Troy, and this happens with a new coaching staff. I don't know if you looked at South Alabama, but
they had a bunch.
Coach Campbell, I think, had 10 to 12 guys in the transfer portal this year.
Yeah. And a lot of that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the coach wants. Their players, when a new coach comes in, they just doesn't adjust to the new coach and doesn't adjust to the new system, and really. He's doing that to actually help them because, they're not going to play for him, if the system's not right for him. So he gives them an opportunity to move on.
Yeah, I mean, you got to buy in. It's one of those situations that it's a fresh start for some guys that didn't really feel like they got enough playing time from the previous staff. And then a new staff comes in and maybe they have a better chance to play.
Yeah. And then
he's a great player, though, and seems like a really great kid when I'm seeing him in interviews and stuff like that. So shocking news. I was not expecting to see that yesterday.
Yeah, of course, he's an outstanding player. Just to read what the Dothan Eagle had to say about it this morning, it says the Troy University may be losing one of the top football players if reports prove accurate. According to the multimedia reports, former Enterprise standout Marcus Jones, a rising junior defensive back and return specialist for Troy, had entered the NCAA transfer portal. And this is something, is this something new?
Yeah, it started, I think, last year. But it's something that any kid that wants to leave a school just basically puts his name into the transfer portal, and then basically other schools can contact him. And when they enter the portal, I mean, Alabama had a guy from Maryland the other day enter it, and then he decided after he talked to Coach Saban that he was going to stay at Alabama. So you can stay.
Oh, he can stay.
Yeah.
So if things don't work out, let's say nobody picks him up, he can come back. Is that right?
Yeah, but I would think at a small school like Troy, you got an idea that you got to think he's going to be going if he does that.
And of course, he's coming off of an injury, and what an unbelievable play at South Alabama he made to intercept that ball. And he's been, of course, he's a great kick returner. And
in the bowl game against Buffalo, he got clotheslined a few times. Yeah. He took some shots in that game, I remember.
But he did play in that game.
Yeah, he got hurt a few times in that game.
But do you think Alabama will go after him? Auburn will
I don't know. Did you watch Alabama?
I would.
Did you watch Alabama in the national championship game? Do you think they need some help in the secondary?
Yeah, they do.
They were pretty awful, weren't they?
And of course, they've got a good kick returner at Alabama.
Waddle.
Hey, how about Auburn? He's going. I would say that if he doesn't stay at Troy, he'll go to Alabama Auburn because he's got the year. He's got to sit out anyway.
Yeah, and I think he's a kid that can play at both those schools. Yeah. I think he's a kid that can play that.
What did you say Saban said about him? He's too small?
Well, just a little too short.
Oh, a little too short.
Yeah, he's only 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah. There's a lot of them that are not, you don't find those 6'2" and 6'3" guys to play in your secondary other than maybe at safety. Is that right?
Well, Alabama can find guys at any height and size. That's why they're number one recruiting every year.
Quentin Williams, the young man from Alabama who is another one that's leaving early to go to the draft. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Ran a 4.83 second 40-yard dash time.
Yeah, he's just a redshirt sophomore, but you can go if you've got if you're a junior in the classroom.
And for a 300-pounder, 4.8 is pretty fast.
Yeah, that's really fast.
So he'll probably be a top 20.
No, he's top 5 for sure.
Top 5.
Yeah.
Well,
he's about to make a lot of money.
I mean, he's going to be a multi-millionaire, wouldn't you say?
That's right. That's guaranteed money.
Of course, we'll be looking at this all throughout the when is the draft? It's in April usually. Isn't it?
No, they moved it back.
Yeah. Of course, I want to mention Charles Henderson beats Enterprise 5-0. Charles Henderson, I think, off to a very good start in baseball, Mike. And,
yeah, they seem like they're playing a lot better this year.
And well, they got some pitching, and of course, you know, with the young men transferring over, that's going to help them a lot too, don't you think?
Yeah, Coleman Water.
McWhorter transfers from Pike Liberal Arts to play at Charles Henderson, and evidently you can do that. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you can do that. I think you can leave a public school and go to a private school, and leave a private school and go to a public school.
Exactly right.
Especially when it's in your hometown.
No question about it. Want to mention, you know, again last night, Alabama led the entire first half, and as many
Alabama led by 13 in the half.
Yeah, 13, and just I don't know what it is, but they're not a good shooting team ever since this guy's been here. I mean, why can't you sign good shooters?
I mean, Avery Johnson's making $2.8 million a year as a head coach too. So I mean, they had Colin Sexton, who was one of the best players probably to play at Alabama.
Now that hurt him when he did that.
Eight pick in the NBA draft, and he's putting up big numbers for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I don't know, man. They're not a fun team to watch. They really go through a lot of cold droughts throughout games, and they have unbelievable size. I mean, every guy on the court was 3 or 4 inches bigger in Auburn. But at the very end of the game, Harper, who's a great player at Auburn, just drove the lane, made 2 layups.
Yeah,
and Alabama made 2 turnovers at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was another thing last night. Brown last night, who's one of Auburn's best shooters, only scores 5 points.
Yeah.
So, very poor last few minutes for Alabama basketball last night.
Of course, a lot of things going on here. We've got a lot of softball, a lot of baseball going on in our area. As I mentioned, Charles Henderson off to a good start. Pike Liberal Arts got beat. They don't get beat much in baseball. Macon East beat them 9-8.
Okay.
And that's some of the baseball news.
Yeah, we could go over the Troy's new football schedule. That's out.
Yeah, and of course, some surprises for local people. Another Wednesday night game is going to be played in Troy. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
South Alabama. That the report is out of the athletic department yesterday was that Troy will be playing the University of South Alabama on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I don't like that, to be honest with you, but that's just the way the Sun Belt has to schedule to be on television.
Well, you know, hopefully all the preachers out there will decide, say, hey, let's just this week and this week only, let's just meet on Tuesday.
I don't know.
And then go to
I don't think that'll happen in Alabama.
Game. Of course, we'll be watching all of that real closely, and in fact, we'll be giving you that information later on today. I'm looking through here and trying to find some information on Troy's situation in basketball. Do they have a chance to make the playoffs?
The last 2 teams,
conference playoffs.
The last 2 teams in the conference do not make any kind of postseason tournament. So
who are the last 2?
Troy and Appalachian State. So Troy plays Appalachian State on, I guess tomorrow. Or no, Thursday? Yeah, so tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, that's on the road. Now, are they still playing?
If we take a commercial break, I'll look at the Sun Belt standings, and
we'll take a break right now. We'll take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Millie Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks over here.
I do, and they're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
Getting my car detailed.
At Trojan Detail, we do it all. Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years, not to mention burning your food? Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama, and we appreciate them so much. One of our strong supporters of our show, and we appreciate them so much. Sandbuck Insurance on the square in downtown Troy, and also with offices in Andalusia and in Enterprise. And, of course, they've been around a long time. Denny Sanford and all the great folks have a lot of insurance products to choose from right here in Troy and also in Andalusia and Enterprise. In baseball last night, Carol of Ozark beat Ponce de Leon, Florida, Mike.
I drove right through Ponce de Leon, Florida yesterday.
And you could have watched that game. The Eagles scored 8 runs in the 4th inning and 5 in the 5th. Noah Cruitt had 3 hits coming with home run. And actually, he hit for the cycle in that game. So Carroll is now 4-5, and they'll move on.
What is Carroll doing playing Ponce de Leon? That's an interesting game.
You're seeing more of that. More of Alabama schools playing Georgia and Florida schools. Arrington, the Purple Cats, went 18-1 over Zion Chapel, and Bryson Peavy had 4 hits for Arrington and 5 RBIs. Carson Fain had 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Landon Thrash had 2 RBIs, while Nash Evans, Gage Cumbie, Maddox Herring, and Jackson Blair and Payne Griffin each had an RBI. Of course, Nathan Howell.
Tell you what, Arrington's pretty good in baseball.
That's right. They always are. They really are. New Brockton beat Kinston 7-1 in some other action. As we mentioned earlier, Macon East beats Pike Liberal. Pike Liberal was undefeated. The Patriots scored all their runs in the 4th inning, but Macon East came back and scored a big one in the last inning to win the game. Pike Liberal Arts Chandler Golden drove in 3 runs with a double, while Cody Hollis had 2 RBIs. Davis, Allen, and Max Copeland drove in a run each, but the Patriots lose to their rival, Macon East. Some other games.
Where's Macon East located, Montgomery?
It's located out in the country. It's called. Ever heard of Matthews and Cecil? Those
I think maybe I've been through Matthews.
Matthews and Cecil, and of course that school's been out there a long time. An old friend of mine, son, is the head coach and headmaster of that school. Been that way for a long time. Lott and Larry Lott. And I've been friends a long time, and like I said, his son been a long time.
So when you were refereeing basketball, did you ever referee at Macon East? Was that around then?
I never went to Macon East much. I did when they were located in Tuskegee. They used to be located in Tuskegee, and then they moved to Montgomery.
So does Macon East get all the old Bullitt Memorial kids?
Yeah, that's right. They get a lot of the Bullitt Memorial and a lot of the Macon Academy students. They get a lot of their students out of Montgomery.
Okay.
They were not far from Montgomery.
We're talking about the Sun Belt standings. I was looking at that, and Troy, unfortunately, now is last in the Sun Belt standings at 4-12 overall, 11-17 on the year. So basically, Appalachian State is 5-11, Little Rock is 5-11. So I guess if Troy somehow won 2, and Appalachian State and Little Rock all lost, they maybe could get into not actual tournament in New Orleans, but where they could go on the road and play one of these teams in the Sun Belt.
We've got to have some help from somebody else. Is that
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I mean, the standings is pretty remarkable. Texas State's 12-5, Georgia State's 12-5, and Georgia Southern is 12-5.
Yeah.
And then Arlington, who has a brand new coach, they're 11-6. So, unbelievable though how this basketball season ended up going. You know, you go from 10-7 to now you've only won one more game.
And what has been the situation with the Troy's outstanding
I have
players?
no idea.
In fact, Troy might have one of the top 5 players in the country.
I don't know about the country, but definitely in the non-Power 5.
Yeah. Well, he's averaging last 5 games. He had played something like 30 points a game, or right at 30 points.
Well, you know, his brother played at Mississippi State and was, you know, the all-time block shots leader in the SEC. So, you know, credit to Coach Cunningham, they even got Bernardo here.
Yeah. Well,
credit they got Wesley Person here as well. They've
no
done an
question
unbelievable job recruiting.
They really have. And, of course, without Bernardo, Troy is not very good.
They're just lost, it seems like. It seems like everything goes through Bernardo, and Hicks is not the same. Miller's not the same.
See, Bernardo makes everybody else.
The kid they're really counting on was this Javen Johnson kid out of Huntsville, or Decatur.
Yeah.
And he's just not stepped up like they're, I think, really hoping and expecting. Big 6'7", about 205 pounds, can jump, can shoot the three. He's real inconsistent.
Definitely a pretty guy, no question about it, and they could run.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that, you know, Coach Cunningham, Coach Grant, Coach Fletcher, Coach Worley, these guys can coach. You know, sometimes it comes down to these players as well. You know, it's not always on the coaching. So. And
one thing that I'm hoping, because I do like these guys, I think they do have another year under their contract. They could come back and have a good year, but they've got to go out and get some players, though. I think, don't you?
I mean, you got Miller graduating, you got Hicks graduating, you got Bernardo. I mean, that's a lot of points. So
no question. They need people that can shoot the basketball from the 3-point.
No, what they need, we talk about all the time. They need somebody that can
rebound,
actually guard.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy gives up over 80 points a game, and I mean the defense is what's got to get better.
Yeah. All right, they got a good play out of the the young man that's such a good 3-point shooter has been hurt.
Yeah, Norman.
He shot well last ball game, didn't he?
Yeah, he made 4 threes. I mean, that would have been a blowout if he wouldn't have scored as many points as he would have.
And of course, another thing Troy's faced is that everybody else is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, some else in the basketball league, but it doesn't matter. They're only getting one in the tournament.
Yeah.
So there's never going to be a 2-bid league. Just like Conference USA and UAB and Western Kentucky's not a 2-big league.
I know, isn't that a shame?
Yeah.
And and a lot of these teams in the East, which are not near as good a basketball teams, get a team in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, look right now. I mean, Alabama's still got a chance at the NCAA tournament. They're not very good to me. So I mean, their SEC might get 8 teams in.
No question about it. Charles Henderson beat Enterprise. Darrell Lee and Jackson Giles each allowed just 2 hits in shutting out the Wildcats. Lee pitched 4 in the 3rd inning and struck out 6, while Giles finished up in relief and struck out 1. The Trojans scored 2 runs in the first, 3 in the 4th. Caden Bryan had 2 doubles and 2 RBIs for Charles Henderson. Jackson Giles also drove in a run, and Colin Marsh had 2 hits for Enterprise, but Charles Henderson off to a real good start in baseball. Wicksburg, Andalusia beat Opp 10-2 in baseball yesterday, and of course another. Let's see now. This might have been softball. That's right. That's softball. They won 10-2 over Opp, and Brantley beat Wicksburg 8-4 in girls softball. Lauren Hudson had 8 strikeouts. And as Titletown moves right on, Mike, Titletown, don't you agree?
Yeah.
Talking about Brantley.
They haven't won too many titles lately, though.
Well, they're good, no question about it. And, of course, their boys beat Charles Henderson 2-1 in a game played recently. So they've got a good baseball team, too. Houston Academy girls beat Pike Road 6-0, and that new school is moving right on, and going to be pretty tough to beat on down the stretch.
So what is Pike Road? What are they, 4A, 5A?
I want to say they're 3A now. I'm not sure. I'm not positive at all about that. But
so did you mention the Troy football schedule yet?
No, let's talk about it as Troy University prepares to start spring practice. I want to say next week.
Yeah, they start August 31st against Campbell. That's the first game of the season. And then I don't like this at all. They have a week off before they play Southern Miss on the 14th.
Yeah, that's right.
Never like an early week off.
Yeah. That is an early week off.
So then they play Akron on the 21st, Arkansas State.
Let's write that down. Let's slow it down a little bit. All right, you got Campbell, a team that not many people know about. How long has Campbell been playing football?
I don't know. They've been 1AA, I guess, for a while.
Yeah. And, of course, all right, so that game will be in Troy on the 31st.
That's right.
To open the season.
That'll just be about 95 degrees, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And then open date, and this is a difficult time for open date, will be the 7th. Is that right?
Yep, open date will be the 7th. And
okay.
Then they play at home against Southern Miss.
Which will be a big game with Southern Miss.
Yeah, that's a huge game. Southern Miss has never been to Troy that I know of.
I don't think so either. And, of course, it should be a good one. All right, after that.
Then you travel to Akron, Ohio to play the Akron Zips.
Play the Zips and without...
Who has a new coach that came from Chattanooga. Coach, Terry Bowden got fired.
Zips, and what's the date on that?
That game will be the 21st.
21st of September, okay.
Then after that, you got a huge home game against Arkansas State.
All right, Arkansas.
Troy hadn't played Arkansas State. Didn't play them last year. Played them the year before in that amazing game.
And that'll be a home game on what date?
28th.
That'll be a big game early, a conference game early with Arkansas State at Troy.
And then they travel to Columbia, Missouri to play Kelly Bryant in Missouri.
Kelly Bryant, that's the transfer from Clemson?
Yeah. So
what's the date on that?
That's a fun trip, actually. We made that before, October 5th.
October 5th.
We went up there and stayed in St. Louis and ended up going to that game. After that, you got South Alabama on a Wednesday night on October the 16th. So that means Troy will have 11 days to get ready for South Alabama.
All right, South Alabama on the, again, what's that date? I'm sorry.
16th.
16th. On a Wednesday night, the 16th, in Troy.
And then they got 10 days to go to the old Turner Field and play Georgia State.
All right.
So Georgia State will be a pretty tough matchup on the road.
Yeah, okay.
Then after that,
but again, you got 10 days to prepare.
Yeah, well, that's the way Sunbelt is. It's always a lot of time off, a lot of weird scheduling.
Okay.
Then on November the 2nd, great trip to Myrtle Beach if anybody wants to make it.
What's that on a Saturday?
On a Saturday, November 2nd against Coastal Carolina.
And they're going to be better.
They got a new coach. They actually.
You mean the coach left?
Yeah, the billionaire decided to step down, and the offense coordinator, Jamie Chadwell, is now the head coach.
Jamie Chadwell, that surprises me.
Yeah.
And
well, he was 70 years old.
Now, the coach there, he said the billionaire, he was actually a billionaire coaching their football team.
That's correct, yeah.
And what made him decide to cut down?
Well, he's been battling cancer, yeah.
He's still doing it?
Well, no, he's in remission, but I think he just decided to step away.
And he's 70 years old, is that right?
Yeah. Then after that, we go to San Marcos. I've actually never been to San Marcos to a game. You've been to see Texas State
over
play?
The years. In fact, I remember going out there. It's right there in the San Antonio area, Austin, San Antonio area.
Yeah.
I want to say. And it's a big school, 35,000 students on campus. Did you know that?
It's been really surprising how poor they've been in football, too. I mean, I think the last time they had a winning record was when Franchione was the coach. So Texas State will be on November 16th on a Saturday.
Where would that be?
That's in San Marcos.
Okay.
And then on the 23rd, this will be a really tough trip because they were really good last year under Billy Napier, their first year.
The 23rd, that Thanksgiving?
Yeah. The 23rd, you'll be at Lafayette, Louisiana at Cajun Field.
Okay, and that'll be a tough one there.
So Troy's got a lot of road games at the very end of the season. And then should be the biggest game of the year. Should be a sellout. Of course, Appalachian State's got a new coach, just like Troy's got a new coach. Appalachian State finishes the season in Troy on November 30th.
On the 30th, and so that's going to be a huge game. Could be a very big game on the 30th.
Could be for the Sun Belt,
yeah. No question about it. Well, let's go back over it a little bit. Opening up with Campbell, then a open date, which now a lot of people might jump all over on open date because you can do a lot between. They say a team improves the most between the first and the second game.
Yeah, you hear that. I mean, I don't know how much you can really see how good you are when you play at Campbell, though. I don't know.
Exactly right. And then, of course, Southern Miss coming in here is going to be a huge non-conference game. Should fill it up, I hope.
Well, we didn't fill it up for Boise. I wouldn't think we'd fill it up for Southern Miss, but Southern Miss will bring more people. So
yeah, that's right. No question that they will.
It'll be interesting to see. You know, a lot of people, compare Troy's program to Southern Miss. Of course, Jeremy McClain, our athletic director, is at Southern Miss, and the associate athletic directors are at Southern Miss. And we say all the time we want to be a Southern Miss. I think we already are Southern Miss now.
Yeah, I think so,
we've kind of called up to that level. Of course, Southern Miss has had a lot bigger victories, a lot bigger. I mean, they've had undefeated seasons in Division I. But
and just think how many times they beat Alabama and Auburn too over the years.
Yeah, they beat Alabama, Auburn, Florida State. I mean, the list goes on and on. But
of course, they had a guy named Brett Favre back then, was pretty good.
Yeah,
their marching band is good.
They had Curly Hallman, and then of course they had Jeff Bauer, who I still think is one of the more underrated coaches ever.
Oh man, they haven't been the same since Jeff Bauer left. He was really an outstanding coach. All right,
but I think Troy will probably beat Southern Miss at home. I would think.
I would hope so. Now, of course, a lot has to do with Troy's quarterback. Will he be back? And
well, I mean, you got Sawyer Smith. You got a great backup.
Yeah.
And he possibly might win the job. Who knows?
And then there's a young
new
man,
coaching staff.
Young man from Brantley that's a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, Jacob Free.
Troy's
got more quarterbacks than I've ever seen since I guess I've been watching Troy football all my life since I was a little baby. I don't ever remember when they had 5 quarterbacks. Do you?
No, you're right.
They got Sawyer Smith, Caleb Barker. They got the Screws kid coming in from Jacksonville, Florida. They got Jacob Free.
Yeah.
And then they got Gunnar Watson.
That's right.
What are they going to do with these quarterbacks? Somebody's going to transfer to West Virginia, aren't they?
I would think somebody would transfer because 5 guys and they all want to play.
I mean, what would you think? I mean, is this going to be bad blood between Troy fans and Neil Brown at West Virginia?
You know what? Do you know what?
If these two guys, Folsom and Jones, end up transferring there?
Do you know what?
How do you look at that?
It could. I mean, let me tell you. Nobody has actually expected this, and
I mean, we don't know. We don't know
I
where
think
they're
they're
going.
friends. I really think they're friends. But if you start taking players away from a team,
Or you're talking about all conference players.
Yeah, exactly. And that would.
We don't know until we know. I mean,
and if it's bad blood,
it's not going to be bad blood until it happens.
I know it. And another thing, it's not going to be bad blood as long as it doesn't directly affect them because we're not playing them, and whatever. Caleb Barker is a great quarterback. I'm going to tell you, he hadn't got hurt last year, and that's ifs and buts and all that, but no telling how good Troy would have been.
Well, let's just say
they were pretty good. They won 10 games. They might have won 11 or 12.
When he got hurt, they were 6-1, and he had rushed for 130 yards and thrown for 130 yards in the first quarter against Georgia State.
And was fixing to break a record.
I mean, I remember turning to you. I was at that game, one of the few games I get to go to because I got a 2- and a 1-year-old, but it's just amazing how good he was playing. I said, man, he might be the best.
Well, in that game, he had had one run for 90-something yards, and of course he had great speed. And again, it's going to be quite a battle at quarterback. And a good thing for Troy.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to think that the Screws kid coming in will be redshirted, and then Watson and
Watson's been gray-shirted. He's been gray-shirted and red-shirted. He's where they want him. Is that right?
Yeah. So Free will just be a sophomore as well. So, man, this is a lot of competition.
I was riding through to the Georgia Southern game, and I stopped by this restaurant. It's a school where Fort Valley State. It's a town where Fort Valley State's located.
Yeah.
And I was talking to some people, as we were eating lunch, and they said, "Oh, you're from Troy?" And I said, they noticed my hat, and I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, we've got a guy from the county school here that is a quarterback at Troy," and they mentioned Watson.
Okay.
And they said he was one of the best quarterbacks that's ever come through that part of the country. And he is now at Troy and is a gray shirt,
red shirt.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, so he's a red shirt freshman now.
And look at the guys that have done that.
Brandon Silvers, Corey Robinson.
Brandon Silvers and Corey Robinson, who were both of them were outstanding quarterbacks here, went through the same thing. This Watson should be a very mature freshman.
Well, you know, he got in and played against Liberty and threw the ball pretty well. Of course, that was a game after Caleb Barker had gotten hurt.
Yeah.
I think that's a game you got to look back last year. You know, Troy, you know, in any other situation should have beat Liberty.
Oh yeah, that one.
A team that gave up 50 points a game almost.
Let me just say this, and I don't mean to be facetious here, and I might be. Hey, Troy would have beat them 3 touchdowns with Caleb Barker.
You would think, yeah.
Because I mean, their offense would have jailed, and you know, and nobody could expect him to come right in, our backup quarterback to come right in and just just dominate, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was a situation where, you know, Troy had the lead and gave up a late touchdown, and really disappointing game. Of course, now the great Hugh Freeze is the coach at Liberty.
Yep, Hugh Freeze is there, and
I'm sure they'll put up a lot of points.
Should be much better, no question about it. Do you think that Liberty is going to try to get in the Sun Belt?
I don't know. That's a good fit, I would think.
Who do
when you got Appalachian State?
And of course, we'll be talking more about that later on in our show. Of course, Jeff, our good buddy at Quality Roofing, you talking about the best roofer in Pike County? Jeff is the best roofer in Pike County. Call him today. And Hook's Barbecue, and of course, we talk barbecue, and everybody out there can tell that neither one of us have missed many meals.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, I'm looking a lot bigger than you these days.
Well, you're a young man.
Come on this show, it makes you want to go on a diet.
Of course, our show is brought to you by Pike County Ford on the bypass right here in Troy. You're looking for a great deal on a Ford car or truck. No better place than right here at Pike County Ford. And, I have really had, anybody ask me about a truck, I'll just tell you that you can't beat a Ford truck. I've got one that's got close to 250,000 miles on it, and there's no way in the world I'm going to give that truck up.
Yeah, I've never actually owned a Ford, but I've driven yours many times. It's a great truck. Been to a lot of ball games on that.
You know, it's where you turn. It's an easy truck to drive. The steering is good, and I really like it. Mike Amos has joined us today. My son, who normally is on the other side of the radio here, and of course calls in every day on our show, and we enjoy it. Of course, he's a guy that always has plenty of answers, but now normally when you're at home calling in, you have the computer. Do you normally look at the computer?
I don't always look at the computer. I mean, some stuff I just know off the top of my head. I think I'm kind of proving that today. I'm not looking at too much when I'm talking, but it's kind of a situation where it's a little difficult. I have a 2- and a 1-year-old, and we're trying to get them ready in the morning, and my wife's very nice and lets me do the show.
And see, in Birmingham, you don't get anywhere in a hurry. I mean, like your wife works downtown, is that right?
Yeah.
And it takes her, 30 minutes to get downtown, doesn't it?
It takes her at least 20. It depends on traffic. Of course, there's like a wreck every day in Birmingham, but luckily our kids are in daycare in Mountain Brook, only about half a mile from the house, so that's good.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, you lost your razor blades, is that right?
Yeah, I lost my razor blade when I was about 20. So basically, a razor blade lasts about 2 weeks for me because I shaved my neck and I shaved my cheeks right here.
These guys here, I'm going to give them I thought our steak was real good last night at
Mossy Grove.
Mossy Grove.
Wonderful.
And, of course, how good is that cornbread?
The best hush puppies I've ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, they were amazing.
Of course, with the white peas, and I noticed that the guy sitting next to us was really bearing down on those peas and cornbread. With the helping of peas that I saw him eat, how in the world would he have any room to eat his regular meal?
I don't know.
But it is delicious. Of course, my wife loves their catfish, and I like their steaks, and I like their catfish, and I like their service. Their service is what is so good. And,
Sylvia's been there for, what'd she say, 30 years?
Oh, yeah, at least. And, of course, the food is excellent, and you want to take some friends out to eat or feed the family, I promise you it's a good place.
Yeah, I'm almost glad I can get on the road and leave Troy today because I'll just keep on gaining more and more weight when I'm here.
Yeah.
All I do is eat at the places I love so much.
Yeah, of course, we take for granted Sisters, how good Sisters is. And, in Birmingham, is there any place that can compare with Sisters?
No, I mean, not a buffet like that.
Yeah, and especially the
reason. You got meat and threes and stuff like that, but I mean, that's what I tell people all the time. Like Sisters, I guess is what, $11.80 or $12
yeah,
for
that's
a
right.
buffet and a tea. And I mean, I eat at several meat and threes in Birmingham. They're $15.
Yeah.
And that's them making my plate.
And the thing about it,
so I mean, I would much rather make my own plate. I mean, I will say about a buffet. I mean, I like to make one big plate.
Yeah.
And usually I don't go back. that one plate might be that high. So, I went to Red Schoolhouse the other day, and I did go back. I will say that.
Yeah, that's another good place.
That's a place I don't get to go to as much. And
yeah,
I went by old I guess it's Dublin or Raymer and hit 331 and head back to Birmingham.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
I was at the beach yesterday, and I was wanting to grab something to eat, and I loved the Red Bar gumbo so much, and I was down in Grayton at her house down there, and it was really sad to not have that option right now. Of course, they'll build the Red Bar back, hopefully, but that's the best gumbo I'd ever had in my life.
And that guy is a premium individual, the guy that owns the RedBar.
Yeah,
don't you agree?
Oliver P. Yeah.
And knowing him, he'll probably keep his hired help and probably continue to pay them while they're.
Well, I met with some folks at Grayton Beer Company, and they have the brewery, and they also have a brew house in Grayton, and they had a benefit for the Red Bar employees that raised $30,000, and then they've had other benefits. They've already raised $60,000 for those employees.
Isn't that amazing?
Just that community.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it tells you what kind of community that is.
Exactly right. No question about it. And let me just say this. If you got a question or answer here to this, fine. But, one thing they need to make sure that's a little different is the man's bathroom.
Yeah.
Normally the man's bathroom open the door, you open it up, and you're in the
you're basically in the bar. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he's already made jokes. He's already made jokes. He'll have nicer bathrooms.
So it actually could be better. The Red Bar is famous in the Grayton area, like Floribama is in the Pensacola area, or Orange Beach area. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The Floribama got destroyed by the hurricane, and now Red Bar's been destroyed by a fire. So I guess it'll be interesting to see what the Red Bar looks like when they rebuild it. It was fun yesterday. I'm on the beach truck right now because I'm doing some stuff down in Grayton, and I was leaving the house yesterday, and I just drove the truck out on the beach before I left.
Yeah.
Just to go out there and see the water real quick.
Yeah. Now, what is the rule there? It's one of the very few places around
you
can actually drive a truck out on the beach.
Yeah, my wife's family is on our place, and then they have a place next door too. Their grandparents do, but they're grandfathered in because they bought in the 70s, so they always will have a beach permit. But everybody else down in Walton County is a lottery system. So basically, it's just the luck of winning a lottery where you can get a beach permit on the back of a four-wheel drive.
How often do they do that?
They do it every year. Yeah, I mean,
so if you want that, if you like that, which is unusual. In fact, to my knowledge, on the west side of Florida, there's not many other places where you can drive out on the beach now.
I mean, I know you can do it in Daytona.
Daytona is on the east side.
Yeah.
And and they've been doing that for years on the east, at the Daytona area.
Yeah.
Sebring, Florida. Are you familiar with that?
Where's that?
It's down in. I think it's in South Florida. It might be in California.
Okay.
Sebring is where they used to have the races.
Okay.
In Sebring, Florida, and I think that's on the east side. And somebody can call in and correct me or not, but I think you can drive out on the beach.
Well, the best thing about it is we have a 2- and a 1-year-old, so we can just throw all their stuff in the umbrella and the chairs, and we can be back at the house within a couple of minutes.
Now can you leave your truck there?
You can leave your truck there.
I mean, for as long as you're there, you can leave it there.
As long as you have the permit.
I
think you have to have it off the beach each night by around 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah. So you can't leave it there overnight.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave
Now, I've also seen people put boats in there.
Well, they have commercial fishermen that actually that's where the charter is. They charter out on Great Beach.
And of course, it's you don't see anything docks or anything like that. It's just
they back the trailers right into the water.
Right into the water, and they. Yeah. But now, is there a limit to how many boats can do that?
I think there's around 6.
6 boats that can use that as a coming and go, in and out deal.
Also, they have regattas down there too, where they have the sailboats go out. I think either Memorial Day weekend or July 4th weekend. That's real pretty.
Now that is a flat area, a real flat area. Do you have much flooding?
A little bit, yeah.
So the ocean. In a bad storm, it could come across even at the Red Bar where it was located.
Well, you also have the lake. The lake comes into the Gulf of Mexico as well, so you have a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, do people swim in the lake, or what do they do?
Yeah, a lot of people swim in the lake.
Yeah, because
a lot of kids do.
Yeah. So that makes it.
A lot of people actually like to park near the lake, so you'll have the lake and you'll actually have the Gulf of Mexico. You'll have both.
We're talking Florida this morning, and of course it started, ladies and gentlemen.
Spring break starts this weekend.
Spring break started. Well, I thought it was last weekend, but
well, I know some schools from the Fayette, Tuscaloosa, Alabama area have spring break starting this weekend.
And Troy, I don't know. Somebody can call in and let us know when Troy will have their spring break, but I think the university has theirs. I want to say next week, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And of course. We've got the phone. All right, wait a minute. We got a caller.
It doesn't look like it's on.
No, that looks like it's on. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A. And, of course, that means Lower Alabama, where we are.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa know-how. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa know-how team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by our good friends at Town and Country Flooring. And, of course, I want to say good morning to Scott and Lana Hartley, great people. And they've got grills, and more grills to choose from at Town and Country Flooring. Of course, they can do all kinds of flooring. Circle Insurance, my good friend Sam Judah at the Circle Insurance, one of the largest insurers in the Dale County area, and we appreciate it coming to us from Ozark this morning. And, of course, we mentioned Dixieland Dental. No better dental clinic you'll find anywhere than Dixieland Dental. And, of course, Noble Manor for assisted living. Noble Manor is where you want to go on Botts Avenue right here in Troy, Alabama. Mike Amos has joined us today from Birmingham, and we got him sitting right here. And, of course, we've got some calls coming in. Phone has been a little wacky this morning. Now we got it going good. Coffee has been brought to the table, thank goodness. And, of course, it is cold. That's why I have my jacket on this morning, and Mike's got his coat. It's cold out there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 27 degrees.
27 degrees.
It's going to freeze again tonight as well.
And the wind doesn't help it any either, and that's another thing that we're concerned about.
Yeah, I can't imagine how cold that baseball game was last night at the Hoover Met.
Exactly right, and of course it was cold. It was a lot colder for Troy because they were getting beat 11-2.
I know, but you know, when we left the restaurant, it was 3-2 in the sixth inning. They brought in Hickson, and you know, unfortunately,
Hickson normally is good, and he'd been under the weather.
Gave up a run, and then I think loaded the bases when they actually pulled him, and then.
Of course, he played at Pike Liberal Arts School, and an outstanding pitcher. And going into the game, I think his ERA was something like
2.45.
Yeah. So he's been doing very well. Of course, it's a long season, and we're looking forward to it. Let's go to our phones this morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. This is Cal Rollins.
Cal Rollins, where are you, man?
Well, just that hot heat's gone, so this cold weather brought me out.
Well, man, I just hadn't heard from you in quite a while. How things going, Cal?
Oh, good, doing good. But it is a little chilly out there this morning. How are you doing?
Well, it's the kind of day you want to stay inside, I would believe. But it's going to be sunny and bright, sunny and bright. If that's good enough for everybody.
It's going to warm up into the 50s, I believe.
Well, I don't know if it's going to warm up for a day or two, but then later in the week, I think it's going to be real nice.
Yeah, well, that's great. And, of course, I know you got your yard the way you want it, don't you?
Well, pretty much until it warms up.
Cal Rollins calling in today. And
I was at the beach yesterday, and the azalea is already blooming down there.
Oh, they're already blooming here in Troy. A lot of my azaleas in my yard are blooming. How about yours?
No.
Your azaleas are not starting to bloom?
I got a lot of other types. I go with a decoration, pines and other types of blooming.
You still got your frog out in your front yard?
Pardon me?
You still got your frog out in the front yard?
Well, I have.
You got a hedge cut
up on the deck, yeah.
Yeah, you got your hedge cut like a frog, don't you?
Yeah.
We're talking to Cal Rollins this morning. What can we do for you?
Well, just call, say hello, and.
Well, I'm glad to hear from you.
Another place to eat is Julia's.
Yes, sir. But they're not one of our sponsors.
There's a good meal out there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Call in.
It is good. It is a good place to eat. No question about it.
Yeah. Okay. Talk to you
later. Thank you so much. Cal Rollins calling in and putting in a word for Julia's. And yes, we would love for Julia's to advertise on this show. And of course, it is a good place to eat, but awfully hard to beat Sisters.
It's not as good as Sisters to me.
Sisters is a big time.
Trust me, when I come to Troy, I don't think to go to Julia's. I always go to Sisters because that's what I like the most.
And of course, they are also one of our sponsors.
I guess I like to see Pat. I like to see Pat and Geraldine as well.
Exactly right. They're great people, no question about it.
Kind of like family out there. I think the Amoses have probably had about 2,000 meals.
Don't tell us how many. I know this that every Christmas, what would you give your mama?
A gift card.
A gift card from Sisters.
From Sisters, yeah.
And of course, always
a lot of times I'd pay for it and have to get you to go pick it up for me.
Yeah, no question about it. Hopefully everybody's doing well this morning. And of course, our prayers and our thoughts are definitely with the people in Lee County. 170-mile-an-hour wind, ladies and gentlemen. Just picture that. And you're sitting in a house, not expecting anything drastic, and you're either in a trailer or a motor home or a mobile home or modular home or just a regular brick home or whatever, and 170 mile an hour winds hit you, it's not much you can do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's like a half a mile wide.
You can be in the middle of the house, or you can be underneath a table or whatever when this happens. But if you're not in a secure basement or whatever, you're going to get blown away, and that's what happened.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the families and the people that lost loved ones. Of course, unfortunately, a lot of kids were involved and lost their lives. And
and wherever you were, I don't think anybody was expecting what was it, a number 4?
Category 4.
Category 4.
EF4, I think.
EF4, which is next to the highest it can get. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And which would be a 5. And
I experienced that in Tuscaloosa in 2011. I was living on 15th Street, working at the University of Alabama, and I'll never forget driving back from Birmingham that morning and then trying to get into my condo later that day and having to walk probably 2 miles, and it was just like a bomb had gone off. I mean, it was like you had been in a war. I mean, everything was just gone. So all the landmarks, everything you were trying to remember was all gone. And that one could have been even worse if it would have hit the hospital and the university in Tuscaloosa that day. But this one in Lee County looks awful as well. I know Auburn's basketball team and Coach Pearl dedicated that win last night to all those families.
I'm going to make a phone call here to a friend of mine, and hopefully we'll be able to well, let's do it again here, like I am. How many times do you see me do this, Mike, and mess up? 2, 0, 5, 3, 6, 1, 2, 0, 6, 8. And hopefully, is that the phone? There we go. And hopefully we can reach this guy and find out what kind of weather we're having in North Alabama today.
North Alabama?
Yes, it's North Alabama, area code 205. Right now, no one's picking up.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic...
We'll check with them later. We're going to find out what's going on in North Alabama today. Of course, another friend of mine, Mike, was riding down the road on 15th Street when the storm hit, and he actually watched right there in front of him people being thrown everywhere.
Yeah, Johnny Williams. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, I heard so many stories. I had friends who literally got down into their basement in the nick of time, and then they came back up, and all they saw was the air, the open sky. The houses were totally gone.
Yeah. And then, of course,
I went to work at the University of Alabama that day, and shoot, on campus, you'd have thought nothing had happened. The guys, the maintenance people were out there cutting the grass, and
if it had been a few yards over, if it would have been a few yards over, and I'm talking about yards, just a few yards.
No, it barely missed the hospital.
Not blocks, and it could have hit right there in the middle of the campus and just really destroyed a lot of things.
I mean, people were at DCH Hospital and literally saw it, thinking it was going to hit the hospital. I remember hearing stories about that.
Yeah. Jacksonville State was.
Oh, they're very lucky.
They were very lucky.
They're on spring break.
And they were on spring break. If not, a lot of people would have been killed at Jacksonville State because it just ramshacked. When you start throwing bricks around and bricks are flying around like darts, I mean, it hits you in the head, you're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you always hear all the stories now about finding a safe place and having your kids wear helmets. And I've got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old baby girls, and I'm almost to the point where I wouldn't mind getting them helmets.
Let me tell you something, and this happened. We were at the alumni house, and it was tornado warnings were out and everything, and it was coming right over the university. And a girl was there, and she says, get everybody in the hall and get some of those yearbooks or some of those books and put them on top of your head. All right, you take a big, heavy book and you put it on top of your head like that. The thing you want to protect most in a hurricane or any kind of heavy winds or tornadoes more than anything, is your head.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you can get a heavy book and hold it over your head, you at least got some protection. So that was something I thought was unique, that some people, that if you are sitting in your home and there's a tornado alert, and that would be a thing to do, get in the hallway or in the middle of your house and get a book, a heavy book, and put over your head and hold it over your head.
Yeah, this is something, unfortunately, we've seen way too much. Of course, the tragic events in Enterprise as well. It's due to a tornado, and it's one of those situations where they have these weather sirens, and hopefully in some of these smaller communities they can build some more storm shelters, you would hope.
I want to mention Country Financial, of course, excellent place for your homeowners and your car insurance. A very good place to get a quote from. It would be, and of course, also I want to mention Health Actions, and also All-Star Collision, located on Highway 231 South. You got your cracks in your windows, or you have bumper problems, or just let's just say this: you bring your car to the All-Star Collision, and it looks like new when you get it back. And they do a great job, and I appreciate it very much.
I would imagine that's a pretty busy place in a college town.
No question. Of course, the Matthews Law Firm, Will Matthews is yet to call in today, but we could expect a call from Will Matthews this morning. Let's take a look at Troy's schedule, Mike, and this is something we do every year. And
this is a very early prediction.
A very early prediction, but I would think Troy, with all the players they got coming back, should beat Campbell to open the season.
I would think they'd beat them by about 4 or 5 touchdowns at least.
Well, we'll see. And then the next week we got a whole week off to get rid of all our bumps and bruises that we accumulated in that Campbell game.
You got a bye week.
A bye week, and of course, it's still early. Some games could be moved around. You never can tell what.
No, that's the official schedule.
Oh, it is the official schedule?
Yep.
All right, so open date on the 7th of September. And then on the 14th, Southern Mississippi comes to town with the Dixie Darlings, Mike.
You think they'll bring their full band?
I'm sure they probably will to Troy, the full brand. It's not a bad drive. 2.5 hours probably, wouldn't you say, or 3?
I'd say 3.5 from Hattiesburg.
Okay, and...
Southern Miss and Troy are about, I guess it's kind of a straight shot. As far as where they're located in Mississippi, and where Troy's located in Alabama, but I imagine there's some different roads
go
you
in.
have to take.
You go. I tell you, if you were driving there, you would go through.
A lot of backcountry roads.
Evergreen, you would go across to Monroeville, keep going to.
When you just get on 65 in Evergreen.
What?
When you get on 65 in Evergreen, then maybe come over from Greenville?
No, what you would do, you would go down 65 to Evergreen, take a right at Evergreen, and go all the way through Monroeville and all the way across the Alabama-Tombigbee Waterway, and head into Mississippi at Waynesboro. Okay. Or you could drive all the way down to Mobile and cut across, whatever. But that's the route that they will take to Troy. Southern Miss and Troy, Mike, that's going to be a good one. Who do you like?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I would think that Troy will beat Southern Miss as far as who we got coming back, and with the fact we're playing them at home. I would think so.
Exactly right. All right, let's take a look here. Arkansas State coming to Troy, and if this game was at Arkansas State, it'd be a tough one to pick.
Yeah, Arkansas State struggled last year. Jacob Hansen, their senior quarterback, is finally graduated. They were actually winning the bowl game against Nevada and went to overtime and ended up losing. I think Troy won that game.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Troy plays a lot of games early at home.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So Troy's undefeated through 3 games, Mike. Actually, through 4 games if you...
it'd be 3 games because of the bye.
And then on the 28th of September, you play Georgia State. Is that who you play or what?
No, you play Akron.
Akron, okay. Akron, at Akron?
Yeah, the Zips.
All right, you play the Zips on the 21st.
And they have a new coaching staff, and Akron's been really poor for a long time, even though they almost beat Troy about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I would think Troy would beat Akron on the road.
Okay, so Troy's undefeated after 4 games. Is that right?
That's correct.
At least in my opinion. Then on Wednesday the 5th, and
no, you're skipping. Troy plays Missouri after that.
oh, okay. Now that's where we messed up.
I'd have to pull it up again.
All right, we got Missouri after Arkansas.
Troy plays Arkansas State on the 28th, and then Missouri on the 5th.
On the 5th, and of course it's going to be tough.
And I would think Troy would lose that game.
All right, let's just say Troy will lose to Missouri. I'll say that too. On that, they're not supposed to beat Missouri, especially at Missouri. Okay, let's move on.
After that, they play South Alabama on a Wednesday night in Troy.
And what's the date on that?
16th.
On the 16th on a Wednesday night.
I
I'll
think
take
they'll
Troy.
beat South Alabama.
And of course, it's going to be a much improved South Alabama team.
Then they play at Georgia State.
At Georgia State, they should beat Georgia State.
You would think so, yeah.
So that's got us what, 7-1, or let's see,
5-1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1 in it, or whatever. Okay. Our next game would be who? November the 2nd.
You got to go to Myrtle Beach, play Coastal Carolina.
That's going to be a tough one, but we should win that game, don't you think?
You would think.
Okay, keep going.
Georgia Southern for homecoming on the 9th.
Georgia Southern for homecoming on the 9th.
They're going to be really good. They got the quarterback back. Won 10 games last year.
That's going to be a great one, so I'm gonna take Georgia Southern. All right, keep moving.
After that, you got Texas State.
All right, playing at Texas State. We should win that game, shouldn't we?
You would think so. Texas State won 2 games last year.
Okay, and then we finish the year up against Appalachian State.
No, we finished at Louisiana Lafayette.
Oh, Louisiana Lafayette. That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I think Troy will lose that game.
I do too. I think Troy will lose that game.
And then they finish with Appalachian State at home.
And I think they'll beat Appalachian State at home. I've got them going 10-2. What do you got them going?
I got them losing to Appalachian State at home right now. I got them going 9-3.
All right, you got them 9-3. I got them 10-2.
I mean, what can you? I mean, you can ask for much more than
exactly.
that. A first year coach and his first season
and
going 9-3
then,
or 10-3.
what would be your prediction here? Who would play for the conference championship?
I think Appalachian State would probably play for
right?
Either Appalachian State or Lafayette.
Exactly right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got two very lovely guests coming into our show right now. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile. You saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and two very lovely ladies have joined us this morning. They're missionaries with the Mormon Church. Is that right?
Well,
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And of course, they're here on a mission in Troy, and that they're going to be on our show for about 15 minutes here this morning Sister Christensen, is that right? And Sister Bingham.
Yes.
And tell us where you're from, Sister Christensen.
I'm from Spanish Fork, Utah.
And how long have you been here in Troy with your church?
I've been here for just over 3 months. So.
Have you enjoyed it? Have you had a good time?
I have. I really like Troy.
Well, that's
it's a
great.
little town.
And of course, you come from what town?
I come from what town?
Yeah.
Spanish Fork.
Spanish Fork, Utah. All right, how about you?
I come from Sequim, Washington.
Washington.
Yes.
What's the name of the town again?
It's called Sequim.
Sequim. What is it near?
It's near Bremerton, Washington, or somewhat close to Seattle.
Oh, okay. So in the Seattle area, and of course that's a pretty big area, isn't it?
Yes.
And of course, tell us about your experiences here in Troy, Sister Christensen.
Oh, well, I really loved it. You know, we go around on Troy campus and we talk to people and just try to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. So.
And of course, let me tell you this: it's the same Jesus Christ that I worship as the Baptist.
It's the same one. That's right.
And some people need to know that, you know, that hey, you're a two Christian young ladies that are here as missionaries for your church. And how long have you been doing this?
I've been on my mission for about 9 months.
Yeah.
So.
Now the church, when you grow up, and of course, you know, you don't have to be a missionary. It's a voluntary thing. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. It's all volunteer.
And growing up, evidently, you grew up in a in a Mormon household. Is that right?
Yeah, I did, but there's there's quite a few missionaries that are out that were converts to the church too.
Exactly,
so.
and of course you're here to tell people about your church, and you know, if you want to be recruited, fine. If not, you just want to witness to them. Is that right?
Yeah,
that's true. And even you said like we all worship the same Jesus Christ. We just believe that Jesus Christ's gospel is found here, the fullness.
One of the things that you all believe in more than anything is that when Jesus arose from the grave and he witnessed to the people in the area of where he was erected, and you know, and he met with his disciples, and then he left and went over to the North American continent and witnessed and spoke and talked to the Indians and the people that live there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing, you believe that he left, and very understandable that actually he left and went over and witnessed and worshipped with those people before he descended into heaven. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's actually a scripture that I wanted to share.
Okay.
It's from John 10, and it's verse 16, and this is Jesus Christ speaking. He says, "And other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd." And so we believe that those people, those other sheep, are the people in ancient America.
Yeah. Now, were you raised pretty much in a Mormon family with in a household that and have always been a Mormon?
My family were all members, yes, but my mom was not a member growing up, and she converted over before I was born.
Yeah. Now tell us what's your home? You said your home is in the Seattle area, and of course y'all went to high school there. Now, have either one of y'all started college yet?
Yeah.
All right, so you've been to college for how long? How many years?
I went for a year before I came on my mission.
How about you?
I only went for 1 semester.
Okay, and what you'll do after you spend 2 years working as a missionary or for your church, you'll go back home and go back to school. Is that right?
Exactly.
Where do you go to college? Where did you go to college?
I went to college to Brigham Young University.
Oh, so you went to the big school at Brigham Young.
Yeah.
The blue and the white.
Blue and white.
And of course, we've got a new coach here, Mike, that coached at Brigham Young last year. Is that right?
Yeah, Ron Pugh.
Ryan Pugh is one of the
he was offensive line
offensive line coach at BYU. Is now the offensive coordinator at Troy. Y'all might want to drop by and see him. You know,
I know, yeah.
He was there in Provo and of course that's a beautiful school. I've been there before. And a few years back, we had two young ladies on our show just like y'all. Yeah. And I've always offered this format for these people because I believe in what they're doing and they're worshiping our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But I got a letter after she was on my show from this guy, and he said, and he turned out to be the athletic director at BYU. And he said he appreciated how nice I was to his daughter when she was on our show, and wanted to send something to me from BYU. So he sent me a jacket, a real nice jacket, BYU jacket,
that's cool.
and also a shirt. And he wrote me a very nice letter, and he said, "Hey, we'll be glad to talk to you all about playing a game." Well, we hadn't played them a game yet, but it might be coming that one day we might play BYU in Provo or somewhere else. You know.
That's awesome.
Maybe one day.
But what you've been in Troy how long?
I've been in Troy for like 3 months.
How long have you been in Troy?
I've been here for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, so
yes,
you're new.
I'm brand new.
And y'all are trying to get to know each other, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are quite regimental as far as the way y'all sort of live. You wake up, you go to bed by a certain time, and you wake up and eat breakfast, and then you have a little worship time, and then you're often moving around the community. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
How's it been so far?
It's been great.
Do you have a lot of people just shutting their door on you, or are you able to go through the campus and go to the dorms and talk to students? How does it work?
We don't usually go like inside of the dorms, but we talk to students all over campus. And it's usually received fairly well.
It's pretty cold today.
Yeah.
Of course, it's been pretty pleasant until recently. And y'all able to? Is it this cold out west?
Oh, I don't think it's as cold because it doesn't have the humidity.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
I guess it is still pretty cold.
Yeah. Now you've been out just 2 weeks.
Out here in Troy, I've been on my mission for 14 months.
Oh, okay. So. Where have you been prior to this?
I've served in Tallahassee. In Atmore, Alabama.
Atmore, Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Lynn Haven, Florida.
Yeah, and of course, were you there during the storm?
During the hurricane?
Yeah, the hurricane?
No, I left
Well,
right
you went
before.
right through Lynn Haven, you know that, don't you? A lot of damage down there.
Devastating.
And of course, did y'all, how have you been received here in Troy?
Since I've been here, like, we've had so much success. So many people want to know if the Book of Mormon really is God's Word.
Yeah.
If it really talks about Jesus Christ like it claims. And we've been able to meet with so many people since I've been here. So.
All right, now y'all worship the Bible, and you look at that as the Word of God, is that right?
We do.
And then there's the Book of Mormon, which is which is not the Bible that everybody worships, but the Mormon Church has their own Bible. Is that right?
It's not like our own Bible. It's what it says on the cover is it's another testament of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. It's some wording there that is not in the Bible. Is that right?
So really, like, kind of the biggest difference between like the Book of Mormon and the Bible is the Bible took place in Jerusalem, where and the Book of Mormon took place in the Americas. So it talks about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ came and visited the Americas and taught them things that he taught on the other side of the world.
And of course, you have a leader here in the United States, or you have a leader of the Mormon Church. And what is his name?
His name is Russell M. Nelson. He's actually a prophet. So like comparable to like a Moses in ancient times.
Yeah.
He is a prophet of God.
Yeah, and of
named
course,
Russell M. Nelson.
Does he rule over the church, or do you have a? Or I mean, what I'm saying is he the leader of the church?
Yeah, he's the leader because we know he's called of God, and everything that like he says to us, we know is from Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and of course, the church is in Salt Lake City. Is that right? The main church.
The headquarters.
Is that where his headquarters? Is that where he resides in Salt Lake City?
Mm-hmm.
And so is it similar to the Catholic Church where the you have the Pope, being the leader of that church? Is that similar?
The concept is similar, where there's like a head of authority, but they're a little bit different. The office of a pope and the office of a prophet.
Yeah. Now you've been in Troy how long?
I've been here for 3 months.
3 months. Now where were you prior to being in Troy?
I was in Milton, Florida.
Milton, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And now, how many more months do you have on your mission?
I'm about halfway, so I have 9 more months.
Yeah. And of course, has each day been something that do you plan what you're going to do, and so far has everything gone as planned?
Yeah, things have been really good.
And tell us some, of course, like I said, your life's sort of regimented. Now, y'all have a car y'all can use, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of you have your driver's license?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And of course, you have a lot of friends back home that might have gone or might go to the Mormon church, but did not wish to go on a mission. Is this strictly voluntary?
Yep,
Volunteer
it's
what
all
you're doing?
voluntarily done.
Is this something that your parents did too? Did they all go on a mission?
My dad did, but my mom did not. So.
Yeah. Now, your household, like on Christmas Day, does Santa Claus come to your house?
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all have Santa Claus just like everybody else, but the main emphasis on Christmas Day should be to celebrate the birth of Christ. Is that right?
It is.
Do we actually know the actual birth of Christ, the date? Was he actually born on Christmas Day on December the 25th, or do we know that for sure?
I don't think he was born on December 25th, but I am not sure when he was born.
I'm not sure.
Well, of course, the December 25th is the Baptist religion that I have always been with is. He was born on December 25th, or at least we celebrate that day as the birth of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Easter coming up will be the resurrection, and is that the way y'all pretty much have always studied in your Bible to be?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Because once again, like the Book of Mormon, it doesn't contradict the Bible, it just supports it.
Exactly. And
testifies of Christ just like the Bible.
Yeah.
So the content is very similar.
Of course, you go out and you're very lovely ladies, both of you. And of course, now, you're, other than, like, let's just say there are 2 girls from Troy, Alabama that are going to school here, is the way they've grown up to be, let's just say they were Baptists or Methodists or whatever, is it much different than the way you have been raised, pretty much? Or they've been, or has it been different, the way you've been raised?
So when we talk to people who were raised like Baptists,
I mean, all right, like if you're back, do you actually go out on dates and?
Y'all
go to school and you go to go shopping and no different. Is that
we're
right?
We're not crazy.
No, we have just a normal childhood.
Yeah. Now, marriage. Of course, do you feel like you will actually marry a young man that is Mormon, or are you allowed to marry outside the church?
Yeah, we can marry outside the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and of course, but what your plans are after your ministry here, and how many more months do you think you'll be in Troy?
Hopefully 2 more months.
Yeah, and how about you?
Hopefully the same, maybe a little
exactly.
longer.
And then you'll go back home, or will you go somewhere else?
Just somewhere else.
Yeah.
She might go home.
I might go home.
Yeah. And then of course, you're actually supposed to be out there for 2 years. Is that right?
We stay out for 18 months.
Yeah, exactly. Now, are you able to communicate with your family much?
Yeah, actually, we just got a new standard release that we can call our families every Monday.
Every Monday, that's great. Now, it used to be, it would just be one time, or what was it prior to that?
It used to be Mother's Day and Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now you're going to be out and about. Ladies and gentlemen, these young ladies are premium people, I'm telling you, as far as they love the Lord Jesus Christ like we do. And you know, do you actually go mostly on campus, or do you go out into the neighborhoods, or where will you be witnessing for Christ?
We're on campus, and we're also out in the town knocking on doors, and we share the Book of Mormon. And hopefully next time when we hopefully come on the show, we'd love to just share more about where the Book of Mormon came from and why we use it and everything.
Okay, well, I tell you what, you definitely can come back on, and I know we're running out of time right now, and of course I hope that you know you'll enjoy your stay here in Troy, and the people of Troy, I'm sure, have received you well, and will continue to.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hope
you've enjoyed our show, and you'll be with us. Of course, we come back on at 1:30 today with the same show, and we hope that you'll tune in with us. If not, we'll see you bright and early in the morning for Today in L.A. That's Lower Alabama.